All right. For anybody who's not here, this is being recorded. I'm just going to go ahead and actually mute you all for now. We're going to be talking about developing stronger posture. So I want to come out and say I do have a strong bias with this because I worked at a chiropractor for 4 years. Um, so I have a very, very deep knowledge about what posture can do. Um, physically and physiologically. So we're going to go over that today, and then we're going to go over how to help fix that. It does take some effort to do that, but not much. So let's get this going here. So today we're going to go over the posture epidemic, how posture works, and finally, how can we fix this thing called posture? Posture epidemic. Today, posture is causing quality of life to suffer, whether you are suffering right now or if you know somebody who has terrible posture and you just know they aren't to the point, to the potential where they can be, since they're always hurting, they're always going to the doctor, they're always on medication. Um, Bad posture actually can cause you to age faster. We're going to go over exactly how physiologically that happens. And we all know the next two, which is lower back pain and neck pain. So at the end of the day, if you're sitting at the desk or anything like that, you should not be holding your back saying, oh man, I need to go to the chiropractor. You should be ready to go at the end of the day, ready to take on the world, go play basketball, spend time with your kids, do what you need to do to make your quality of life better. Um, Surgery. This is kind of like the tail end of what bad posture can produce. It's unfortunate that it gets to that point. If it needs to happen, it needs to happen. But at this point in time, right now, there's plenty you can be doing to actually help fix your posture and also decreasing your potential. Everyone has limitless potential. But like I said before, if at the end of the day you're hurting or you have to keep taking medications to get through any pain or anything like that, you're absolutely not reaching your full potential because physically you can't. Um, your body won't let you. So if we can go ahead and start to fix these things and not be part of the problem, be part of the solution, you're going to find much higher quality of life moving forward today. So, how posture works. What's exactly happening physiologically? We're going to start at the top here. So, um, I'm going to refer to the picture next to the words too. And the first one goes along with that first picture on the left there. So, what happens here is if we have upper cross syndrome, which is very, very common with bad posture, so we have rounded shoulders, head tilts forward, um, and your back kind of rounds forward. So we're going to get into the muscles and all that later. But what happens there is you decrease oxygen uptake because simply you are just restricting oxygen actually going through your nose and down into your lungs because you're rolled forward. Now, if I can just grab your full attention for about 5 seconds, that would be great. I want you to try something. I want you to roll your shoulders forward and bring your head all the way down and take the biggest breath in that you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come back instead. Bring your shoulders all the way back, like you're holding a pencil between your shoulder blades. Bring your chin all the way back. Take that same breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If that second time you're able to inhale more oxygen, well, there's a point to that. You're actually able to increase your oxygen uptake. Point being, you're now able to get more oxygen to the brain. You're now able to get more oxygen to your muscles. You're now able to get more oxygen to your organs. So everything from an oxygen standpoint improves just by fixing upper cross syndrome. Now, that doesn't necessarily fix it all the way, but you can see that if you were in that good posture through the thoracic spine, upper body, you're going to absolutely get to a better potential and have more potential than you were, say if you had bad posture forward. Now, another thing is tension raises stress hormones. And we're just going to talk about one specifically. That one is cortisol. So we often say that we carry tension in our necks, and this is true. And it causes a lot of stress, and so we carry our stress here as well. So there's no coincidence um, that there's a correlation there because there's tension there. It causes stress. When the body is stressed, and it can be a small amount of stress too, it raises cortisol. Now, cortisol is going to raise naturally throughout the day, but the stressors we put on our life, whether it be physical stress or emotional stress, that doesn't help. And when you raise cortisol levels, and here's what the aging part, it's kind of like an infomercial, like, look younger with better posture. But it's true. If we keep raising cortisol levels throughout our lives, what happens there is we start to age faster because cortisol is catabolic and it breaks down muscle, skin, nails, hair. So you absolutely can have an opportunity here if you do fix your posture. More so, kind of that upper body posture is where you see it. You'll have, again, better decreased cortisol levels, which again can result in better aging. Something that I'm very, very familiar with is disc degeneration or deterioration. So this happens when you put pressure on a disc in your back or in your neck that shouldn't be there. So our bodies are designed, and I hope you can see my cursor here, are really designed in a curve. And that curve, and this is bad posture here, by the way, but anyway, that curve lets the discs sit one on top of each other. So gravity, when it pulls us down, it's almost like a shock absorber. However, with bad posture, if you're sitting in your desk right now and you're kind of hunched over and you're leaning back into there, you're putting pressure on the anterior portion of your discs in your lower back. Now, what that does, it can cause two things. It can cause a disc bulge, or it can cause stenosis, which are two horrible, horrible things that I wish nobody has to deal with in the future. But that being said, if you take the proactive approach to having stronger posture, that most likely will not occur. Actually, it's if you have perfect posture, that can't occur because that's how the body's built to withstand forces from gravity. So the last thing we're going to go over is the fact that it decreases blood flow. And this kind of goes along with the oxygen uptake because they go hand in hand. But moreover, with blood flow, you're worried about blood clots. So if you're sitting too long or you're in a position where you do have bad posture, you're at risk for more blood clots. And actually, it's interesting that if you have rounded shoulders that go forward, you're actually pinching arteries in the anterior part of your chest there and nerves that can cause tingling in your hand. So sometimes if you're ever wondering if you get pins and needles in your hand from kind of sleeping on your shoulder wrong, just take a look at that. It's your shoulder being compressed and it's restricting blood flow and sensory input from the brain. So if you go ahead and actually be proactive, better posture, shoulder pops back, you get that feeling back in the hand. So over time, that can absolutely decrease blood flow, which can lead to blood clots and worse things off than that. So what's causing us to suffer? Desk jobs. Absolutely. If you're sitting at the desk all day long and you do not develop posture consciousness, absolutely, that will cause you to suffer tremendously for years down the road, if not now. Perfect example is my father. He sat at a desk job for years and years and years. He's now retired. His quality of life is way far away of what it could have been if he addressed the posture before. Because basically when we sit at our desks all day long, we get all of those physiological things that are bad for us happening. And then on top of that, we go home and we sit on a soft couch usually. Unless you're the Amish, and no offense to any Amish people, I love the Amish. That if unless you're sitting on a flat surface with like a wooden bench or something like that that is totally straight, your posture is going to be off because if you sit in a soft, comfy couch or recliner, your lower back is going to dip down and it's going to be out of proportion. And basically, you put pressure on the discs in front and in front of your body there, which can cause herniations, things like that. But all in all, if we do address one of the biggest parts of the day, which is at work, and we develop posture consciousness, we'll have the ability to avoid that. So we can go home, sit in that comfy chair, and not have to worry about it too much. So there's give and take there. What causes muscle imbalance? And some of you know this personally who are on the call right now. If you have a muscle imbalance, and this directly relates to what we have going on the picture here, is what's called upper cross syndrome and lower cross syndrome. Basically, it's an imbalance in muscles. So you can have weak glutes and weak abdominals, okay? And that can cause your hips to rotate. And then on the opposite end are tight erector spinae and tight iliopsoas. So if that's the case, that's a problem at the hips. That's probably a problem with lower body posture. So you have to address those, and it takes time. It does take about 7 weeks, give or take 1 or 2 weeks, for that to change. Okay, so moving on, imbalance in the movement and recovery pillars. Now this is huge. If you just start a generic workout program and you do have weak posture, right, and you don't address these muscle imbalances up front, what happens is you go into a workout plan that's designed for the perfect posture. The problem is if you keep on doing bench press, right, and your muscles in the front here, so your pectorals, if you look on the upper cross syndrome slide over there, you'll see that if you keep working those the same rate as the lower traps and serratus anterior, what'll happen there is you're just going to keep tightening your pecs, and your posture is going to keep getting worse. So you have to keep that into accountability, that you highlight the recovery portion and not just all movement, which a lot of people do. And excuses. The excuse of I'm getting older and this is just the way it is a terrible excuse, and it's a way for you to keep being part of the problem and not the solution. So that's a mindset kind of roadblock that a lot of us put up in there. And it doesn't have to be that way. If we're proactive about some of these things, we don't have to worry about them in the future. And then we don't have any excuses because there's nothing to excuse about. Now we're going to finish up here. So how can we fix this? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 exercises today, but also an opportunity to sign up for a brand spanking new program, which is free. Got to make the commitment. So just like an exercise program, a nutrition program, posture needs to be somewhere in your day. The reason posture needs to be, I wish it didn't have to be part of your day, but it has to be part of your day since we've gotten to a certain point in society where everything is pulling us down and forward. So we have to make sure that we hit it on the other end and we build strong posture so we don't have to suffer for years to come. So if you have a muscle imbalance, okay, there's no quick fix to this. It takes approximately 7 weeks to go ahead and do. And this is 2 reasons. 1, muscles are tight and muscles are weak, so you have to address those. And 2, your body remembers patterns. And when it remembers patterns, no matter all the stretching you do in the world, it won't matter because your body will just keep moving the same way. So you have to make sure that you add some corrective exercises in there to make sure your body moves better moving forward and moves stronger. At least 15 minutes a day of posture work My recommendation is if you're exercising now, use it as your warm-up portion. And I'm going to teach you how to do these things through a program I'm launching, but also these two exercises today. Um, and all it takes is really 15 minutes a day. If you go longer than that, so be it. Then you're going to benefit a little bit more. These are great warm-ups to do, and they can be done at any point of the day, at work, when you get home, before work, or whenever you have time. So, and these go in order too. So we have 1, 2, and then 3. Once you have those 2 things taken care of, you develop posture consciousness. And you heard this before that I said posture consciousness, and that's the ability to actually start to think about strong posture. And when you have that, that's what changes your mindset. That's what changes confidence. That's what keeps you unlocking that potential forward. The 4th thing is getting into now therapy. So if you try all these things and it's really not working all the way through, what you have to do is definitely reach out to a chiropractor, definitely reach out to a physical therapist as your front line of defense to kind of see a better preventive way without surgery or anything like that. Again, I have a bias. I worked for a chiropractor orthopedist for 4 years. Chiropractors have the ability to manipulate. So if a joint is locked up, they can go ahead and unlock that joint so you can create better posture. Physical therapists have a couple of barriers in the way to get to that point. So just keep that in mind that if you are going to look for something, chiropractors are generally a good way to go first, and then physical therapy if they can't help. Just my recommendation, just from pure experience, okay? And then the last thing, join 7 Weeks to Stronger Posture, which is an awesome program. But anyway, the 2 exercises I want to throw at you today, and we'll go over the program if you guys want to stick around. Again, this is recorded if you do have to run, no problem at all. Is the scalene stretch and the glute bridge. And I like these 2 the best because the scalenes obviously run through the front here and draw your chin forward. And the glute bridge is a magical exercise because it engages glutes. So if actually we were to come back up here, it engages glutes, which can be weak, and then engages abdominals, which can be weak as well. But at the same time, what it can do is it can loosen up the iliopsoas in front of the hips. So that's why I'm a giant fan of this. And it's easy to do for warm up or when you wake up in bed. So what you have to do here, again, is just pull down on the neck through here, look up, hold for a minimum of 30 seconds. Nice and easy. Glute bridge, I don't have enough room on this small screen to go ahead and show you, but you can see that description there. You want to get as high as you can in that glute bridge. So let's talk about 7 Weeks of Stronger Posture here, which is 100% free. So just do it. If you can do the commitment, do it. We're going to be launching this May 29th, and I'll have signups available for that, so no worries there. So what is it? We're going to be doing posture analysis so we can absolutely see what your time invested yielded. So you can sign up, you'll get a posture analysis, we'll do before and afters, and you can see your results after 7 weeks. Weekly posture meetups. These are going to be great. These are going to be lunchtime hours where you can drop in, start to learn about different exercises, stretch, talk to other employees who are doing the program as well. Tiered corrective exercises. These will be emailed to you every single week. You can do them on your own. You can do them with the group as well. You also have me to communicate with to make sure you're doing them correct. And we can always meet on a one-on-one basis if you need any help or guidance through that. Guided emails to make you stay on track. This is kind of the accountability built in to make sure you go off your checklist and say, okay, today I did this, this, and this. I'm good. I did my posture exercises. Took about 15 minutes. You'll see progression after 7 weeks. I just launched a cool opportunity with Skills, one of our vendors, that every Intuit employee now gets 25% off Skills gear. So I'm going to have that link in the YouTube video. You guys will get that. So you can actually start buying stuff for the posture program, but also whatever you need as well. And 7 weeks to stronger posture. I've ran similar programs, proven results they deliver. 100% guarantee, but there's really nothing you're paying. So you're just gonna have to go off of my good word. So anyway, if you guys want to sign up for that, again, I'm going to have signups for that very soon. Also in the YouTube link, if you know anybody else who might be interested. So thank you guys very much. I'm actually going to end the recording.